Saludos amigos y amigos de Breaking News. Rican Coffee, estamos en un episodio más, un capítulo más. Este que te habla, Jorge Carramos Luego, estoy con Enrique Fernández y Arturo no está, pero hoy estamos, ¿cómo estamos hoy? Hoy tenemos que buscar un bateador designado para decir esta parte. Joey, ¿cómo estamos hoy?
¡Estamos en vivo!
Estamos en vivo, estamos live en la cata virtual de Early Riser de Boulevard Brewing Company. Hoy nos acompaña Bobby Dijkstra.
Bobby's here.
Steven Cargello.
What's up, old friends?
Epa.
Sorry, I was eating lots of pizza.
Adam Hall. Y nos acompaña Omar Torres de Gustos Coffee and Company, el dueño de Gustos Coffee. ¿Cómo están ustedes? How you doing, guys? How you doing?
Fantastic. Very good. Drinking the Calling IPA. Very great. And it is great. So thank you for having us back again.
Perfect.
Pre-gaming for that early riser. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys a ton for being here. Y Omar, mil gracias por estar aquí con nosotros hoy también.
Sí, gracias. Dale, Kike.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and open my beer. Omar is a smart man. He's already got his going.
You're going to do the same. I'm gonna watch Joey open it with his wedding ring, though.
That's always a cool party trick.
It's better than using your teeth.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it probably is. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Salud.
Beautiful looking beer, and the aroma on it is probably
some of those Teku glasses.
Yes.
Definitely. We gotta make another batch and get a couple to you guys.
Yeah. Breaking news Teku glass.
Saludos a todos los que están viendo el episodio en vivo aquí. Eduardo, José, Rick, varios por ahí.
We're just going to use these really fancy wine glasses, if that's okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, very good. Perfect. I want the pinky.
Guys, it's always nice to see you.
Important part, the pinky. So, guys, my favorite part about this beer, I gotta say, is the aroma.
Yeah.
It's like it wants to leave the glass. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What was the inspiration? How did this collaboration get started? How did you end up with this magical collaboration between two awesome companies?
Well, it's a great question, and I will take the lead on this one for a bit. So I don't know, maybe almost 1 year ago, we made a coffee beer with a brewery out of California. And it went over really well. We shipped a little bit down here to the island. And Joey calls me in like July. Hey, man, we got to make a beer with Puerto Rican coffee. And I know who we got to do it with. This guy at Gustos Coffee. We got to do it. And I was like, yeah, Joey, sure. I got to go. 2 weeks later. Hey, man, what do you think about that beer I told you about? Yeah. We'll talk about it. Yeah, just give me some time. 1 week later. Hey, man, I'm a really good salesman. You guys need to call this guy Omar. So I had some calls with Bobby, who runs our sales team out of Kansas City, and our brewery, or our brewing folks, and our marketing team, and everybody said, I don't know. And then I get another call from Joey. Hey, man, you can do this beer. I want to introduce you to Omar. And maybe like back in September, Omar, maybe that's when we started to talk.
More or less, yeah.
And just from there, it really took off and took a life of its own. And Omar started to send some coffee out for our lab and our brewers to taste and find the characteristics they liked the most. And and then away we went. We asked Omar to ship us a whole lot of coffee overnight, and yeah, it showed up at our brewery, and the rest is history. It's what you got in the glass. So it's a long, fun story, but Joey really.
We have to thank Joey then.
Yeah,
Nah.
100%. Omar. Yeah, and without Omar making amazing products, we wouldn't be here either. But it's a really cool story, and Omar was awesome to talk to, and I learned so much about coffee from him today, and over the past couple of months as we've been talking. So, yeah, the coffee culture here on the island is very cool and very inspiring.
So
For sure.
what was the motivation? So the motivation was Joey.
Cambia.
Paper making. But absolutely, Joey brought everyone together. Very exciting to see. But I mean, the flavors, like you mentioned, I mean, the aroma is so big, and everything to me is just so fresh in this, and everything. All we really concentrated on freshness when we did this, and having things delivered so quickly, and then the process that we had at the brewery to get things turned around so quickly. But you can really smell it in that big nose that you get.
Yeah, right away you smell the
Definitely.
roastiness of the coffee and that particular thing of the Puerto Rican coffee. You know, that roasty, that chocolate, that aroma of
Big chocolate.
Yep.
It's got a lot going on. It's a fairly complex coffee aroma. It's not just straightforward, coffee.
Yep.
Omar, go ahead.
What I like about it is the balance that it has. It has the cuerpo, the body, and it's mild acidity, but it opens up your taste buds just enough to make you want to keep drinking more.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it.
Definitely, and it's not super. It's not a cloying beer. It's not too intense. Obviously, it gets hot here in Puerto Rico, so something like this is super drinkable considering how dark it is and the intensity of the coffee. So that's always a plus. So how did you guys? You mentioned you got a bunch of samples from Gustos. How many? How was the process for choosing which specific coffee you're going to use? What were you looking for specifically in that coffee?
So that's a great question too. So we really needed something. We have people at the brewery that a big part of their job is tasting, as you can imagine, generally tasting for consistency amongst batches of beer to make sure they fit in a spec that we expect for our beer to look like and taste like. And those are people from both our lab and from our brewing team. And they're some coffee nerds and obviously beer nerds. And there are some people that are very serious about coffee at the brewery.
Absolutely.
And so they were invited in to taste through the samples that Omar had sent. And they take notes on them the same way they do when they're choosing hops, hop harvest, and other finished beer products and things. So so it was a fun day at the brewery when we can integrate people on something other than beer, like coffee. And so people with amazing palates tasted through all the samples. And the consensus was a blend that Omar sent that has very low acidity, and it made for a really clean finish in the beer. And that's kind of how we chose the blend. And we said, Omar, can you do this particular blend? And he gave us 2 thumbs up, and away we went.
Voila.
So, Omar, what was the coffee that you chose for the beer?
We use the premium selection, which is a very balanced coffee, and I think it works really well. To be honest with you, I have to go back to Joey when he first came to visit me, and his excitement to do this also motivated me, and I said yes right away. But the truth was, I was scared at the same time because I didn't really know. Here I am willing to give my name and put my name to do this, but I hadn't tasted it. And I trusted Joey, and I trusted Boulevard Beer, knowing that they were who they are and what they're all about, that it was going to taste good. But I was still scared. So when it first arrived, and I popped the first bottle, and I tasted this wonderful beer, I was just so elated and so happy. The outcome, because I've tasted other other beers with coffee, and they're good and they've been really well. I mean, but I was extremely pleased with this and the quality of it and just the balance. To me, it's like a cold brew with nitro, and it's got alcohol. It's better.
But it's really easy
the best
drinking.
of both worlds.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's a really easy drinking beer. So it's 5.2% of alcohol. So you can have many of them.
So if I'm not mistaken, you guys have brewed the early riser porter. You've made it a couple times, right? With coffees from different from the States or other locations.
Yes.
So what would you say for this Puerto Rican version? What would you something that stands out about it? What sets it apart from the rest of the early risers?
I think that it's smoother. I think it's more. The aroma is much bigger. I think it's slightly less acrid, less bitter too. Those are, and maybe a little more fruity would be my recollection. It's been a couple of years now, but that would be my recollection. Bobby?
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, balance. I find it incredibly well balanced, highly drinkable. So many coffee beers can be a bit polarizing, or you want to have one or two. Even if they are low ABV, they leave you with a lingering flavor, but not this one. It seems to finish very clean, and I love the balance of it. And Stephen Powell's, I mean, that's probably one of his biggest strengths as a brewmaster is balance. And balance isn't always in favor in some of the beers that are popular today, but really that's where he excels, and I think it turned out that way.
Hey, it has Puerto Rican coffee. What else can be better?
We had the pleasure of talking to Mr. Powell. Stephen Powell is a wonderful brewmaster you guys have. We had the pleasure of talking to him fairly recently, and he also mentioned we briefly talked about the early riser, and he said, there's something special about that coffee. Like, it's different than any other coffee we've used for any coffee beer. So I'm sure he enjoyed it too. So that's good. And what Bobby's saying, you guys are masters of balanced beers. Everything your portfolio is like super easy drinking beers, but everything comes together, aroma, flavor, it's all there. So
one of the things I was telling Steven and the crew from the Boulevard beer is that the Puerto Rican coffee history and why it was so popular back in the 1890s when Puerto Rico was the fourth largest exporter in the world at that time. Unfortunately, we're not there anymore. But it was because the Puerto Rican coffee is so well balanced. It's perfect for espresso. The Italians love our coffee because you don't need to blend it. You can just use the origin coffee and it makes a great espresso, which is balanced with the chocolate sweetness that it has, with lots of aroma, and the medium acidity is what makes it perfect for an espresso, which also makes it perfect for the beer. And it just gives that balance and that wonderful sweetness with the slight acidity, but just that complete balance that makes it so wonderful. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm taking the 6-pack to the beach, and I'm going to enjoy it this weekend, and I hope everybody else does too.
There we go.
And it's an awesome breakfast beer too. That's another plus.
For brunch.
The name, someone asked about the name earlier. So early riser, it's you wake up early and you have your coffee, and that's kind of how. Yeah, there it is. Boom.
Despierta.
5.2% is perfect for breakfast too. So are you guys?
I did that. My wife is here at the time, but I made that rooster noise after she left. So did I embarrass myself making the rooster noise?
No. It was perfect. We have sound effects in our show, so don't worry.
The rooster noise comes out after the third bottle of early riser. Are you guys planning on repeating this beer? Is it a one-time thing? Is it what's the availability right now? I understand it's you guys are distributing it a fairly large footprint, right?
Yeah, we have it is set up as a limited release or a seasonal brand, and that's how it's been for the last few times that we've brewed early riser. But something this good and successful always is worthy of consideration for the future. So I think it's certainly on the table to do it again. But as far as where it's going to about half of the states. So about 24 states. Obviously, the largest chunk here, a big chunk of the orders and sales will come from our home market in Kansas City. So that's great. But then Florida, New York City had a nice size order. California. So a lot of places all around the United States will be able to try the beer, and
Nice.
it's already gotten very good reviews on Untapped, which is nice to see.
Yep.
I was gonna ask that if you guys have any idea what the reception has been so far in states like California, not necessarily.
So the island was the first. Was we shipped the beer the day that it left our quality control because Joey.
That's I have to say we did it.
And I believe Alejandro Ballester also was very instrumental in making sure that we shipped it very early and it got here on time. And so your market actually is probably either the first or second market to receive the beer. The rest of the East Coast will get it maybe this week or next week.
Nice. So,
Sweet.
do you see any other potential collaboration between Boulevard and any other Puerto Rican product?
Well, with how well this went, I can't imagine not considering that. We have a lot of affection for Joey and for the
Agenda, yeah.
whole company. So they're such great partners, really great partners, and we don't use that word lightly. So we would consider really anything, and we just love the craft beer lovers here in Puerto Rico. So we're just lucky to have them as fans, and we would love to partner with them.
Nice.
Jorge and me were talking before the show. We were saying this would be maybe like an imperial version of this, aged in Puerto Rican rum barrels.
There you go.
Throwing it out there.
Quédate callado.
Pretty massive, like Puerto Rican rum and Puerto Rican coffee. That'd be awesome.
I'm really proud that we did this collaboration, and I've said this earlier today and for many reasons, and I think, and I mentioned it earlier with Puerto Rico and its golden age of coffee in the 1800s, in the late 1800s. I would love, and part of Gusto's mission is to take us there again, to see if we can raise our bar and just take Puerto Rican coffee to the world. And but that's a long process, and it's a difficult process. But that's our mission, and we want to get there again. And in order to do that, we need to make sure we're focused on specialty coffee. And this alignment with the craft beer like Boulevard and with our specialty coffee from Puerto Rico, it's a perfect combination so that people who love craft and artisan quality can appreciate what we both do in this industry and we can take Puerto Rican coffee to the world. And I keep telling everyone who works for us and that we need to be ambassadors of Puerto Rican coffee. And this is just one step to take it to the world. And that's going to help the agriculture and the farm, the pickers, and the whole line of industry from the agricultor. And that's, to me, the most important thing. Let's get more people sembrando café and growing their industry.
Absolutely.
We need it. Yeah.
Beautiful words, and going to be more true. Definitely.
Yeah.
Where can people find the beer right now in Puerto Rico? Anybody who wants to get their hands on the beer, is it available in supermarkets or more
At
craft beer?
Gustos, you can get it from Gustos.
En la esquinita.
Ahora mismo, you can find the beer at most of our supermarkets. Every craft beer bar that's open has it already. And supermarkets have it. We're gonna start a promotion starting next week with our friends from Supermax and the House. Obviously, La Esquinita and La Noteca has it already. Everybody has it right now. It's all over. It's all over. Just get their hands fast. It's gonna end soon.
In my house in Texas. So
And Texas also.
thank you for sending me the beers. I'm really appreciated that. It's really
Obviously,
thank you.
also
Gracias.
in Pimentón, aquí en Carolina, con Dani, las mejores pizzas de todo Puerto Rico, pues. Ya tú
Estoy de
sabes.
acuerdo.
Indeed,
I
man.
agree. I agree. Y mira,
Saludos.
mira esto, mira esto.
Danny, thank you.
Con el dedito.
El dedo. Ah, the pinky. What happened to pinky? Pinky, what happened to pinky? Ah.
Lo
So,
siento.
Omar, you mentioned earlier that you're happy with the final product, but is it everything you expected? Is it more than you expected?
More than I expected. It really is.
Would you do it again? Would you do the same type of coffee, or would you even consider doing maybe other styles of beer, not necessarily a dark beer?
Well, that's what we're talking about today, and where we can collaborate on some other different avenues of what to do. And like you mentioned, you had a great idea, the rum combination and barrels, very interesting. I like it, and I think Stephen, when we mentioned it earlier today, that could be done.
It's a possibility. So
Today we were talking about all kinds of coffee, and we found talking with Stephen and the crew from the Boulevard, how similar the craft beer and the coffee is. We're always trying to innovate, trying to do different things, and it's funny that we were almost talking the same language today.
It was awesome. We shared some of the highs and some of the lows of our industry, and then it got me thinking that we both brew, right? So brewing coffee and brewing beer, so that's a beautiful connection. But it's so interesting, the Venn diagram of the craft beer consumer and the craft coffee consumer.
Definitely,
it's a very, very close-knit group of folks, and which again makes projects like this so rewarding and so fun for us.
Absolutely.
And meeting people like Omar, the Gustos Foundation. I don't know if you've had a chance to read up on it, anyone, but go to the Gustos website and look at the Gustos Foundation information and what Omar and his folks are working on with planting more acreage of coffee trees on the island, experimenting with new techniques on production of coffee. I learned so much. I thought I learned a lot when I read the Gustos Foundation information. But then again, sitting with Omar today and another farmer, coffee farmer today was so amazing. And we realized, coffee is an agricultural product. Beer largely it's completely agricultural, right? So our grains, our hops, we all depend on crop yields and consistency from year on year. And it's just identical to what coffee growers and coffee roasters and producers have to deal with. So super cool conversation this morning, Omar, by the way. Thank you.
Omar, something that you can add from the Gusto Foundation, talk about a little bit of the Gusto Foundation.
Well, after the Hurricane Marilyn, we realized that there was a huge need in the mountains and where the coffee's produced. And one of the first things that we did was try to provide food and first necessities after the hurricane, because it's so important that the people don't leave the mountain, that que se queden que no se vayan al pueblo, that they stay there in the mountain, because we need those workers. And in Puerto Rico, we have a huge problem finding the coffee pickers. And so it was important for me to make sure that they were going to stay, and they were willing to stay living in the mountains. So that's where I realized I wanted to start the foundation so that we could continue to promote and help the community. Right now, our mission in the foundation is to help our neighbors. Our farm is in Yauco, in el sector La Montaña, and we want to help all the neighbors. And basically, we're focused on Yauco because that's where we are. And I feel like I'm a de Yauco, aunque nunca. Although I'm not from Yauco.
Eres adoptado de Yauco.
Exacto.
Yeah.
So the next step was we need plants. At the time after the hurricane, there was no seedlings. There was no. We were unprepared for the devastation that happened, and so the first thing that we needed to work on was providing trees so they could replant. And basically, after the hurricane, we needed, in order to get back to a normal production, 18 million trees. I think in the last 3 years, they've provided close to 3 million trees. We helped with we created a vivero, which is
greenhouse,
a nursery for the trees, and we produced 100,000 and we gave those free to our neighbors so they could replant their farms. But one of the most important things that I was impressed by was that after the hurricane, when I spoke with the farmers in the area, it was their attitude. They were like positive, and we're gonna do it again. We're gonna plant again, and that's what gave me this energy to continue wanting to help them grow. And that's also why I want to do this collaboration, to continue to promote Puerto Rican coffee, because by doing that, we create new markets for our coffee, and I can buy more coffee from more farmers at a just price, a price where they make a profit when they sell it. And that's what's going to make the coffee industry grow. And that's the only way we can be successful, that we can continue, make it sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on for hours on this subject.
But definitely, this is a great start to getting the word out. This is going to be in the hands of half the 23 states, I believe Joey mentioned. So, I mean, amazing that everybody's going to get to hopefully listen to the story, see the video, know they're drinking something with a product that's, something premium, picked by hand. It's not something that you can, So this is, thank you guys so much for creating it, for both of you, for the coffee, for the beer. Yeah. Amazing collaboration. So
perfect.
Cheers,
perfect
guys.
Collaboration. Perfect.
Definitely.
So, before we go, Joey, tú sabes qué cervezas vienen por ahí de Boulevard, por ahí vienen coming. What beers are coming in the near future to Puerto Rican market from Boulevard?
For those baseball fans, there's what's the name of it?
Tip your cap.
Tip Your Cap is a beer that's for the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, it's a baseball beer. It's a very easy drinking golden ale. It's really just fantastic, crisp flavors. Perfect for baseball, which I know is a very popular and should be with so many great players from.
And the Negro League Hall of Fame is in Kansas City. So there's a that's a natural connection for us. And we'll be donating a big chunk of the proceeds to the Hall of Fame as well. So that just released last week.
Yeah, it's on its way to Puerto Rico. Yeah, there's another sour beer that's coming. The name of it is Tiki Slam.
Ooh, Tiki Slam.
Nice.
Tiki Slam is, as my 7-year-old son says, the chef's kiss. So when he has something he likes a lot, chef's kiss.
Looking forward to those. I'm a big baseball fan, so looking forward to those. Oh, there we go.
With packed with tropical flavors.
Mango. Passion fruit, orange, and guava. I have to get help from my. It's great, man. It's like a mimosa almost, with a little sour, with the pinkies out.
Awesome.
That's the beer. Tip Your Cap.
Here we have Tip Your Cap. So Boulevard fans in Puerto Rico, look out.
Coming soon.
A lot of good beer. Yeah. Apart from this one, because right now the one you have to get is this one, because like Joey said, it's probably gonna sell out fairly quickly. So try it out, and it's a limited release. So hopefully they make more, but just in case, try it before it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we guys get you? Social media? Is there anything you want to share before we wrap it up?
Well, Omar, going to look at the Gustos Foundation. What's your website? GustosCoffee.com?
GustosCoffeeCO.com. Gustos Coffee Company.
which is an awesome website and to read through. And like I said, the history was awesome and just a cool company to support. You know, our website is boulevard.com. It's the easiest thing imaginable to remember. Pimenton has got the best pizza that I've had in a very long time. Every time I come to the island, I make one of these guys bring me over here in Carolina. And I don't know. So there's this whole new like beer garden area here that's really beautiful, and that's where we're broadcasting from tonight.
Wow.
So I don't want to get in trouble for saying that, but it's awesome. So if you haven't
Thank
come
you,
out there
Donnie. Thank you, Donnie.
and listen to jazz music and drink Boulevard beer, it's an awesome spot to do that.
And
So
if you think you ordered too many pizzas, you're wrong.
No way, no way.
You will find room.
My personal favorite is the one with figs on it. It's delicious.
I gotta
The
order
fico.
See if
My
they have it.
favorite was the salmon with avocado. So good.
Nice, nice.
I have
there's
to go back to
something
Puerto
hot
Rico soon.
honey on the menu that my wife is a big fan of. So the hot honey was 2 thumbs up for hot honey too. So
That might be a new beer.
hot honey beer. You heard it here first. Breaking news. Hot honey beer.
Ooh. Need it. So, Joey, your social media.
And always,
Omar.
always a great pizza with great beer.
All right.
Definitely.
That's the perfect combination.
Yeah.
So, Joey, your social media from
Craft
Puerto
Beer
Rico.
PR in Facebook, Craft Beer Puerto Rico, in Instagram. La Noteca is our official store in San Juan. Some can say it's Guaynabo, but it's in San Juan. You know how this is. I really quiero decir unas palabritas antes, ¿verdad? Lo quiero felicitar porque salieron el mejor podcast de cervezas artesanales. Así que una vez más, gracias a ustedes. Sin ustedes esta ayuda, ¿verdad? No somos nada ahora mismo. A Karen, a Brenda, las relacionistas públicas de Gusto y de Craft Beer, a la agencia, al equipo de trabajo de Ballester Hermanos, la fuerza de venta Ballester Hermanos, que son los mejores vendedores ever, cervezas artesanales. A my friends here in Boulevard, man, this is an amazing project. Omar, en verdad que esto ha sido la experiencia más bonita que hemos tenido y me comprometo a seguir echando para adelante el café de Puerto Rico, para adelante. Vamos para encima, así que cuenta con nosotros, Omar, para lo que sea. Just keep doing great beers. Just keep doing the podcast. I will be here anytime you need us. And Dani Pimentón, gracias. De verdad que.
Gracias, Dani. Gracias por el support. Quique, ¿dónde te pueden conseguir? Cuéntame.
La Esquinita, Jardín Cervecero y Enrique Fernández, Facebook, Instagram. Si quieren buscar esta beer, ahora mismo la tenemos disponible en botella y en draft. Así que se la pueden llevar como quieran, growlers, vasos, botellas, aprovechen. Y se está vendiendo muy bien, a la gente ha tenido muy buena respuesta, así que
qué bien.
Y gracias.
Pues vamos para atrás. Bueno, ahora me la voy yo. Mira, qué hombre guapo, así soy yo. Bueno, antes de irnos queremos anunciar nuestro próximo episodio. Vamos a tomarnos una semana de vacaciones porque la semana que viene, lamentablemente, yo voy a tener que salir para el área de San Francisco y tengo que ir a Napa Valley, o sea que tengo que visitar unos viñedos porque pues tengo que disfrutar, ¿no sabes? Pues la semana que viene pues no tenemos episodio, pero nuestro próximo episodio, señor director, pónchame, ahí está, será el próximo 8 de junio a las 8 de la noche, que vamos a tener a Scott Janisch, que es el fundador de Sabut Cellars, el autor de The New IPA, The Scientific Guide to the Hop Aroma and Flavor, homebrewer y big blogger. Ya saben, el 8 de junio a las 8 de la noche. Acompáñenos, apunten esta fecha. Todos los que son fiebrudos de homebrewing o fiebrudos de cerveza en general, si tienen alguna inquietud para este día, nos pueden enviar las preguntas de antemano. Se comunican con nosotros. Mira, bueno, yo quiero hacer una pregunta. Y nos envían un video, ustedes mismos haciéndole la pregunta a él. Así somos, ¿sabes? Queremos que ustedes sean parte de esto. Ustedes son parte de nosotros, tú sabes. Mira, aquí está el libro, mira, aquí está. La nueva IPA, la versión en español, aquí lo tengo, de Scott Janisch. Mira, Scott Janish, míralo ahí, cosa bella. Ya lo saben. Pues, ¿qué más puedo decir? Pues a mí me pueden conseguir en Facebook bajo Jorge Ramos Lugo, en Instagram bajo Ramones Brew. Y vamos para atrás otra vez, señor director. Y como dice uno de mis luchadores favoritos, el gran Ric Flair. ¡Woo! Míralo aquí está. ¡Woo!
Yo creo que antes de terminar, si podemos volver a tirar el video del principio del café, para que la gente que no lo vio al principio lo puedan ver, señor director, si lo puedes tirar.
Y después volvemos para atrás y nos despedimos, dale.
And before we leave, I don't know until when you guys are going to be in Puerto Rico. Hopefully I can get to see you. It's been a while. Thank you guys for being here. I know you guys are going to be judging tomorrow the homebrew competition, which we really appreciate too. Thanks a bunch. Y Omar, mil gracias. De verdad que espectacular. Gracias. Que se repita y un millón de gracias por sacarte.
Omar, ya mismo nos vamos a comunicar contigo porque esto es Breaking News Beer and Coffee, o sea que vamos a hablar de café contigo, ¿verdad? Y yo, mira, ayer mismo mandé a pedir una maquinita nueva. ¿Cuál fue la que pedí? Aquí, que se volvió.
Una Rancilio.
Mandé a pedir una. Ayer la pedí que necesito un 101, Omar, o sea, necesito ayuda.
Necesitaba en un training, no hay problema, te la damos. En la academia de café tenemos todo y te enseñamos.
Pues entonces vamos a ver el video. Vamos para el video, señor director, y luego regresamos y nos despedimos.
Y oye, gracias a ustedes y a todo el mundo, Boulevard, Joey, de verdad, thank you, everybody, awesome.
El señor director está bebiendo, parece que esto no... Señor director... Gracias nuevamente a todas y a todos los que nos vieron. Gracias a todos por el apoyo. Gracias por apoyarnos. Gracias a todos. Será hasta la próxima aquí en Breaking News Beer and Coffee, como decía mi abuelita. ¡Salud! Y pesetas.
Stick around for a couple of seconds so we can take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.